Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero of Select Defender Fatherland. Off here to 1v1 on, you guessed it is, Crossroads, not Crossing in the Woods, I keep messing those two up from time to time. In North, we got Angreifen fighting for the Oberkommand West Germany, Deutschland. Here with let's just go with the Kampfgruppe Wolf here with Feuersturm, Scavenge, and Elite Army in the south. It is Makros fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, and the 12th Tank Corps here with Defensive, Guard Rifle, and Mechanized Support. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patron supporters for their invaluable assistance keeping the Propagandacast running by pledging on Patreon, their course, and donating on a monthly basis. Big thanks to all those. Other people can join ranks by Patreon, or they can donate via PayPal. Links are in the description. But certainly make me and Basil the Kitty Cat very happy. And finally, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing is another excellent way of supporting the Propagandacast by, forcing the YouTube algorithm to give my channel a bit more, space around the YouTube net. So, off to the races we are here, east, centre and west here for Angreifen, a nice broad approach here. Makros with a similar one, we got the East Special Rifle Command start here from Makros and the Red Army. Tends to be more popular against the Oberkommand West since they can struggle a bit, not just with the penal troopers, but of course the scout car in particular can be a significant headache for Oberkommando's players to tackle in the early game. Also, my apologies if I do sound a bit off here, of course I can't quite tell myself, but basically got a cold that turned into a mild throat infection, so hopefully not something that's going to last for long, just a heads up. It's a bit tiring to deal with, in particular in this current heat and humidity, so. Anyways, third force on the way there for Angreifen, needs ground point on the west, scout car almost down there for Makros and the Red Army. Car on there being sent back up by Angreifen and the German Army. Similar in the west here, and the Sturm Pioneer further westwards there. News heading next west as well. People moving forward here for Makros, equipped with the SVT-40 semi-automatic rifle, which is a fun fact, was actually a downgrade of the Soviet AVT-36 fully automatic battle rifle. Just turns out the rifle could not handle the recoil of the fully automatic, so they basically just made a downgraded version. That was an SVT-40. Fun fact, anyways, chance to the folks are going in aggressively here, and of course, in the early game, the Oberkommand lacks any snares. They're quite vulnerable to this kind of strangulation. They go for commander with anti-tank rifle grenades, for example, or get the Sturm Pioneers close enough. We do have some mines here, so that's also one way to try and deal with the scout car sort of move here. Of course, needs to be careful he doesn't run into the mine while his men are retreating over the mine as well. That will cause some harm. But Sturm Pioneers also do have some decent performance against the scout car. But typically, most Oberkommando's players will not rely on the Sturm Pioneers to counter as they go for more one Sturm Pioneer squad to deal with it that way. Second penal troop squad here from Makros and the Red Army. Mine sweeps up, thumbs up there to Makros. Obviously, assumes his opponent's going to try and lay down some mines, because, again, he assumes his opponent is competent and may, of course, try and catch the scout car with a mine, since, of course, that is a counter. Flamethrowers the way here for Makros, so he's first going to work fixing an armored car. Piece of American crap. Don't say that, Yuri. What if the Americans are listening in on us? Not in another 20 years, comrades. Fix up the scout car there. Pums moving about here. Trot on the way there for Angreifen. The schwere Wehrmacht-Schlepper. A Kidnapper there for Angreifen. Of course, there's one count here to the M3A1 light scout car. Was typically used in the Soviet Rasvedki formations or reconnaissance formations. That would be used alongside a lot of other actual Lend-Lease equipment. In fact, I think the Soviet reconnaissance, from what I can understand, were heavily equipped with. In fact, British Lend-Lease and the Universal Carriers, scout cars, Harley-Davidson motorcycles as well were some of the equipment used in these Soviet reconnaissance formations. They also used the Valentine tank a lot. Third penal squad there for Makros. The skirmishing here, in the armored car or scout car there, punches a great big hole in it, but somehow survives. Continues to bring it fixed up. But there you go, the early disruption against Angreifen's economy, and we got mechanized regiment here with Feuersturm, a typical companion on that, because that way you can go for the upper blitz, use that as a ambulance, and that way he'll up the troops without having to build the battlefield headquarters. We also, of course, get the Flammhetzer, assault packages, which means Flammenwerfers and MT-40 upgrades. You get incendiary munitions for your light infantry guns, of course the aforementioned Oberblitz, and finally the off-map Decisive rocket barrage. For a bit of artillery support there. We got mine swappers up here, of course, for Angreifen. Naturally, assuming his opponent's going to be laying down mines. You may, of course, then add a Panzerschreck or flamethrower on top of that. Mechanized range almost down there for Angreifen and the German army. We'll have to see what he goes for. Will it be a Lux? Will it be a Puma? Well, he's going for the MD-34 first because it doesn't have the fuel for any of the other two options. For now, at least. Graham needs some point over the Strafe, but no command yet from Makros. He remains hesitant here, trying to figure out his options versus the Germans. Full to the court here in a pretty aggressive fusillade there for Makros positions in the west side. Pumping up there for the Red Army. Moving up here steadily. Of course, if he does see a vehicle, he would like to respond, release some anti-tank rifles. Of course, he could also go for Guard Rifle here or mechanized support for Guards Rifle Infantry. And finally, he could also go for defensive for the light anti-tank guns, so that way counter a fast Lux here from Angreifen. So he's obviously insured against an immediate Lux push and not being completely, rolled over. Comes as the Volksgrenadiers. Again, MD-35 forming forwards of me. The Kedno is basically on the carve point, obviously looking to catch the scout cover. There you go. Makros launching ahead with his Pum to straight to the MD-34 now. Catch the negative cover here. That could definitely get painful. Scout Kodo's rushing in. Right as the Kedno rushes in, he uses the overdrive to quickly swoop in there. Like going to try and get a wipe there, but no, gets Panzerfaust here, of course. Was probably not expecting a mechanized regular, and thus a slightly faster time there, perhaps in Panzerfaust. But now he's going to lose the scout here to the MD-34. Still, Angreifen does lose the carve point, but he is going for the looks of the Panzer II Ausführung L, or Model L. Mines down here from Makros and the Red Army, right next to the burning wreckage of the scout car. No, Dimitri, I can't help but feel this is a bit unsafe. What do you mean? Laying down mines next to a burning vehicle while you're wearing a large flamethrower tank on your back? Don't be silly. What are you, a big baby? I don't think babies wield flamethrowers. Shut up. Graham needs some pump to the Kednef. Looks almost down there for Angreifen. Mine spotted. Like, also going to salvage that scout car for a bit of extra fuel. But of course need to dump the previous occupants out in the process. Catching the knees here on the carpon there, sweeping out their Angreifen's little mine. And there we go, got the looks out right as Makros in response goes to the T-70 light tank out there. Certainly the T-70 has some advantages there. We also get MP40s if Angreifen's looking like that's a bit surprising there. It's a bit surprising since most Oberkommando players tend to be big fans of the Sturmgewehr upgrade, but it's not like because the MP40s are bad at all. I think they're quite good. Plus getting access to just a regular Schielhandgranate is also very handy. So, bit of a standoff here. Did we get some anti-tank rifle? Yes indeed, we got the PTRS-41 only for Makros' forces. T-70 getting a great hit on the looks here. Another great hit on the German light tank. Some secured here with some mines. And we got Guard Rifle here from Makros with the K1 heavy tank, Guard Rifle infantry, advanced fortifications, howitzers, and the Sturmweg strafing run. Makros getting pretty aggressive with his T-70 worth noting. Angreifen are not secured the rest of the fuel point back, but he has been good progress in the east here as Makros is committing the vast majority of his force here towards the west, looking to claim the cemetery there from the Germans. There, good looks about to get knocked up the anti-tank rifle. Angreifen needs to get it out of there very schnell. Well, that thing's going to hell. South here, we got the Pums right here, but the Fultons, the MP40s, overcoming the socialist attackers. And we got the old Blitz out there for Angreifen, took right on the healing. Of course, he could also use it to motorize his infantry. What I personally like to do with the normal Blitz if I go for one, but most players will just use it as an ambulance, like, set it up there and then, forget about it. And that's fine, I'm not saying they can't do it, I'm just saying it's a little less exciting. I'm sure that's how the Uber Blitz Pro prefers it. T-70 the Volksgrenadiers there. Ripping into this 45mm gun there. No mercy here from Makros' tank gunner. And Ultra Commander, I believe. Satchel charge there, going to go for a wipe here, and kaboom! Doesn't get a kill though, maybe blows up the eardrums of a nearby squirrel though. backing off here, but still, right now Makros got like fairly good macro as Angreifen. The Angreifen is not completely out of the match either yet there. Luke's being fixed up with the Sturmpioneer, hard at work. Tripping, forcing, healing here. Going for more MP40s here. Schmeissers, as they were colloquially known by the Western Allies, though Schmeiss really had nothing to do with the MP40. Fun side note there. Note, though, from what I can understand, the Germans, though, never really equipped the MP40 in, like, large mass scale. Like, they just didn't have enough. They primarily just went to squad leaders and maybe the second in command. But generally, they would never equip MP40s, like, on mass entire units like that because they didn't really have enough. What they typically do is actually use captured submachine guns, like, you know, captured submachine guns like the PP-41, regular ones or converted ones, you know, weapons they got from, like, you know, other occupied countries, so... Little fun note there. MP's 40 but looks out in the open, push back into the building. Teasing rolling about here, shooting at the folks going to fall from the gun. West side here, Guardsmen there could move on the victory point, but so far Makros is preoccupied elsewhere, so the Guardsmen are having themselves a nice little, you know, rest. Talking about the stuff they're gonna loot when they get to Berlin. I'm gonna steal a toilet! Ooh. La-di-da, comrade Peter, a toilet. Anyways, people against the filters here, going straight at them here, catching them out in the open, down to less than half health. There we go. But he finally gets them on. The Germans are there, ready to rebuff the guards there by the western point. Meanwhile, the centre is where most of the fighting is happening. People coming up here, threatening here, Angreifen centre, west. Up north here, Guardsmen now, as the Fulters not in cover. Might have been misclicked there by Angreifen. Either way, they are going to lose out there as the Guardsmen on cover with the light machine guns. Machine gun outmaneuvered here as now Makros is in a full offensive swing. Also worth noting here, Makros has gone for a snap to beat out the Germans with his high precision shots there. Got the western point there. And Angreifen briefly considers double looks under the current circumstances, which is... I'm not entirely sure how to describe that. Ballsy, ambitious, insane? All three, I don't know. Definitely not what I'd advise, though. I would definitely not advise you to go for double luxes under the current circumstances. Not in a million years. But I'm not Angreifen. I am not Angreifen. So, obviously he's going to do that, I guess. Going straight here for the penal troopers there. May want to add a Panzer straight then, so at least has some more anti-tank weapons. First looks probably being fixed up there, slowly being almost done. Then the penal's being routed here, but ultimately the filter force fall back. There's still another squad though. Quickly turn that Strafbad fleeing, and we also got a little surprise person I think here from Makros. Let us turn the camera a bit. Yes indeed, the demo charge. Also known as the Stalingrad Special. Enforcing healing, that looks good to go. He cancels the looks. There's clearly a bit of hesitation there from Angreifen. Part of him wants to just go for double light tanks, a freer, you know, slightly more insane version of him. Then there's the more realistic part of him. He's just like grabbing a hold there off the silly version of Angreifen, telling him 9, and forcing him to like tech up. Meanwhile, though, Makros taking up as well, so I think that's very sensible. Almost, you know, Makros just gone for single T-34s from 6, and probably everything with another Angreifen. Like, even with the Schwer Panzer quarters, he's still going to be like a bit of a tough spot there because he's not going to have like any armor out anytime soon. So, but there you go, Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper, Grand Western fuel point, and the victory point. Almost got the eastern one here. I mean, in this regard, though, Angreifen does have fairly good fuel control here versus Makros, and certainly something Makros could work well a bit more as well there. Now, of course, Makros is complete slutster either, but if you sort of like pay attention so far, Angreifen just think just been a bit more on the ball when it comes to fuel. T-Sun coming up the centre here. Another broad centre push here by Makros against Angreifen, who's by floating quite a bit of manpower. He's clearly not willing to commit too much infantry, at least not the full studies. Maybe he's scheming Obersoldaten. Who knows? Who knows? Quick steel hand grenade here. Oh, nice bait by the way. His opponent, of course, figuring an instant grenade, probably because that's typically what you see from by the Volksgrenade, but of course it was the steel hand grenade. Schwer panzer quarters up there for Angreifen. Can of course authorize it, but again, as you might know, even the fuel that he's got, he's still gonna take some time to get out like any armor here versus Makros. Meanwhile, Makros will go for the T-3476 now. Of course, if they just figure, you know what, I'm just going to go for the K1 heavy tank, so that way put more pressure on my opponent on a much more nasty level, and that does exactly seem to be what here Makros is scheming now. They're firing away, grabbing the eastern pointy with engineers, slaying down mines in the process. Multitasking. Darted right here in the face of the smoke grenade there, of course, heralding a German assault there. People to line of fire with the MP40s. Again, at close range, the MP40s can do a lot of damage to the Soviet infantry. No authorization, no orbital garden either, so one does wonder what exactly Angreifen is thinking about here versus Makros. What is the plan here? But again, wait, he was hesitating around that second look, so there's clearly some lack, I think, of a structural rigidity in his plans here. Like, he's clearly fumbling a bit around, at least improvising. That's probably a better way to put it. He is probably improvising this strategy a bit more here off the cuff, and there we go. Decides that what he truly needs is orbital garden. Lots of orbital garden. Troop reinforcing healing here. East side, there we go, the point being wired off here by Makros, as he said as well there. OD is going to make a run here for the looks, but the anti-tank side drive. Then he goes straight to mine. Those dual pounding Canny as well. Did not work out there for Makros. In fact, he could lose here. The Ace T-70 got straight run called in here. Makros frantically trying to save the T-70, at least try to put up the appearance of doing everything he can to save it. Could be out of there, of course. And there you go, the Lux is able to finish off here. Makros then lacks anything to really do with Lux, and now Angreifen is able to get Lux out, having destroyed Makros the T-70A. Really good kill. First orbital that's scored out here for Angreifen, getting a light machine, and then the second one is halfway done. Really adding in some elite infantry, and that will add a significant problem for Makros' infantry, of course. Not much of an issue for the K1 heavy tank. Grenadier advancing Falkenleers, Ludwig and Otto drop dead. The East Foot's being snubbed out with the snub. We got 11 kills on that vicious fellow here. Folks are pursuing here and being baited right into mine by the looks of it. Sneaky Makros, sneaky. K1 they're almost done. You're trying to catch us now here with the Falkenleers. Angreifen's had enough of these snipers. That's it. Need to take more losses. I think that was worth it. And in the far west, we got Makros in the western fuel pump, wiring that off cover there. Meanwhile, Angreifen in the east, grabbing the fuel pump their way, so they kind of doing each other's bit. The Norseys, and there we go. Double orbs on with light machines here, absolutely ripping apart their Makros' infantry. Not ready to match firepower of such a scale and commitment. But the orbital Dardan, on the hand, are not ready to face off against the K1, because while they are orbital Dardan, and they don't have any Patriots. Now go great hit from the K1, obliterating almost both squads with a single hit. That was, depending on perspective, either unlucky or very lucky there. Possibly both at the same time. So with that, again, the orbital barely did anything before they got routed with pretty intense casualties. So that's going to take a bit of manpower there. He is getting close to a Panzer IV or a Jagdpanzer versus Angreifen. I think either of those would be handy dandy, though. Versus the K1, and the fact he's got like a lot of like, you know, pretty good anti-infantry like the orbital Dardan. I think a Jagdpanzer would honestly make more sense if Angreifen than going for the Panzer. The Jagdpanzer will be better suited for taking on the K1 with better penetration, range, and rate of fire. Plus, of course, he also has the look, so he's less like needing a tank that can really hurt the infantry. That's not to say the Panzer would be a bad choice, but I just think under the current circumstances, with the current force composition Angreifen is possession of, they are better units to go for than a Panzer IV. People caught in the east by the Falcons, the MP40s worth them apart. There we got the sniper there with 12 kills, about to get 13. Yep. Looks racing forwards. There we go, getting free gain on the German light tank here. Sniper with 13 kills still. Anyways, oh wait, German one back here. There you go, Panthers on the K1, but none failed to damage the engine. Meanwhile, it crushes several Germans before killing them all with its guns. Painful there for Angreifen. I imagine a really fun time there for Makros. Meanwhile, Angreifen can soon go for the Panzer IV Jagdpanzer. Then, of course, there's also the third option, which goes for a Panther. And certainly he could get away with that. I mean, again, like, he's got plenty of infantry. That he's not too, I imagine, concerned about the murdering infantry department. That's not to say the Panther is useless. It does have some pretty good machine guns, but you do require to get close with a Panther, and against penal troopers with anti-tank rifles, you don't exactly want to get close. Still, Panther with this could work out, but arguably so could a Yak Panther as well. So we'll have to see what Angreifen goes for there. Sniper gets another kill there, 14 kills for the Red Army. Makros unleashing the K1 there on Angreifen's left flank, which is definitely looking right for armored push here by Makros with no anti-tank weapons, no mines either at this point, and absolutely nothing else. You want to attack here in the center, keeps Angreifen a bit occupied. On the east side, though, Angreifen, of course, realizes Makros isn't there, so of course he decides to be there. Runs into mine there, losing Friedrich and Engelbert. Looks like being pushed back. Pushing these was there. Apparently the K1 is not moving about there properly. It's like charging in rear first. Which of course there was like an anti-tank and a tank waiting here. Could definitely get a off there for the K1, but so far of course Angreifen doesn't have that, so he can technically get away with it. But you know, just something worth pointing out. That said, sometimes you do try and just order to move forwards that way, but it's still like just decide to reverse. In that regard, the pathing can be a bit cumbersome at times, a bit cumbersome. Trying to dance with a manatee that's had a few too many pints. And he's trying to avoid your toes getting crushed. Issue to fire on the way there for Makros. Obviously concerned about some kind of armor here, and again he's thinking, you know what, the way Angreifen is playing, we haven't seen a Panther before, we haven't seen a Yak Panther. In fact, he might be scheming for a Panther. Of course, he will of course be aware of Angreifen's playstyle in general, which of course he typically tends, as the Germans do, favour Panthers and whatnot if you can get away with it, though sometimes it doesn't. He's been getting a bit better at that, but you know, if you sort of have a good idea of how to Angreifen plays the game, assuming he's going to go for a Panther and then go for an issue response, isn't a bad idea. Like, he's less, shall I say, religiously going for it nowadays, but he will still, if he can get away with it, go for a Panther. So there you go, Panther on the way there for Angreifen, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Looks probably his best here forward, 28 kills. West side, we've got the Propagandacaster and the Pimos with their western point here. Fourth there, go Garten Ramen, got deep up seems about it. Also two now elite squads for light machines. In fact, they actually got the same number of squads in a sense, except of course the Sturmplan is counted 6-1 here for Angreifen, but still. Oh, it's kind of matching there. Panther's almost done here for Angreifen. And suffers a wipe here. Not entirely sure. Oh, there goes the machine gun in the east, caught awkwardly here. Makros scores a brilliant kill there for the Red Army. Issue Highlands great here. Looks getting a decent chunk of experience there. But now the Panthers on the field here, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Tied up the Faserland, and we get a straight run here from Makros as well there against Angreifen. Looking, it seems, to push and a pretty aggressive assault here versus Angreifen. Sturming the straight through there. Doesn't really do a lot there though versus Angreifen. Pretty much misses everything except like Fritz's thumbs. That said, H5 there gets a good shot on the Panther there, and Angreifen very quickly decides he doesn't want to hang around there and probably get his Panther fixed up before committing again. Looks like we might end up in that situation. We sort of see a lot there on Crossroads. We're sort of seeing these boxes happen, and it looks like Angreifen's affected the one that's been boxed in here. Base is sort of caught up here in a part of the map here. Can be difficult to break out if you get boxed out. One reason I'm not a huge fan of the map, again, it just has these effectively like, you know, 4 boxes, and sometimes what they tend to have naturally, because the way the boxes have been designed is they can use, you know, capture a player there, like, you know, creating some not exactly great gameplay from time to time, but also like create, you know, some very unsatisfying moments when once get boxed in. But we'll have to see, of course. Not impossible to break out these boxes, but it can create some very tough moments. Got the MD fed for their man by penal troopers. So what will Angreifen do next? Well, he's got the Panther fixed up more or less. Just a bit more to go there. Panthers were hard to maintain and of course also very unreliable even when properly maintained. Obviously adds the pin-up machine gun. He may of course be setting up munitions for say some rocket barrage. You see he doesn't like to be upgrading his Panthers willy-nilly with that. Good shot in the Trafalgar Kevin Johnson with misses. Just catching the people up the east side. We could see maybe some maneuvers to the east side or the west side there further. And right now Makros has committed everything to the center, at least the bulk of his forces. So I mean west and east side there I think could be a good way for Angreifen to make some progress here versus Makros. South charge of the Sturmpioneers except for Jürgen. Dodge it, but Jürgen unfortunately was too slow there and got blunt of this. Sniper there with 19 kills, about 72. Good socialist kill tally there. Got full flank up here on the Punies with that quick Stielhandgranate on the Strafbat. Doesn't kill anyone, but certainly because most of the Punies was feeling pretty wretched about themselves. Guards now opening up the advancing orbital garden there. Got the Panther coming up here. Makros further giving ground here. Clearly not just fully retreating out of there. Panther getting hit on the sides. And there we go. Got a Stuka Sufus barrage here from Angreifen. Off map version. And there we go. Machine crew gets utterly obliterated. And the machine gets destroyed. Denying that to Makros. And of course all signals to Makros, you know, he needs to stay on his toes. Or Angreifen's going to hammer with rockets from above. There's obviously the rockets from, you know, ground level too. We'll have to see what Makros goes for next. I'm not surprised to see Katyusha here, but honestly more tanks think could alter condition and then maybe just going for some mortars or going for the howitzer. Then again, with the rocket barrage, the howitzer does lose a lot of, shall we say, value for Makros. Since again, you know, Angreifen, they just say sneak in a unit, call them rocket barrage, howitzer no more, so there's certainly an argument there for Makros not wanting to go for the howitzer now that Angreifen has revealed himself to use rocket barrages. That's the howitzer can't exactly just, you know, hit the retreat button and get the hell out of there. Truck on the way there for Angreifen, the Schwere Wehrmachtschlepper. Going for King Tiger next. I guess, I mean, that's the only reason. I mean, he's already got the other Blitz, so it's not like he needs more healing. Unless he's investing Pavitin or something, he's like come up with an excuse to hide it. Katyusha there for Makros. Bit of quad here again, so there you go. Truck out for Angreifen. But yeah, I'm guessing Belgrade headquarters just for the sake of the King Tiger. Who's catching the Pupils? Katyusha almost done with Makros on the Red Army. Makros again put more pressure on the left flank here against Angreifen. Sneaking into the troop station. I guess getting in the Panther again. And then going east, massive infantry pushing back up by the Kednappers. Does over Makros' east flank, which was fairly lightly held. We got the Katyusha at the east running in. We got the K1 also moving here now responding here to the larger attack here by Angreifen, which is now quickly swinging towards the centre here. Sniper though is going to try and make a mess of it here for Angreifen, but may not be enough to stop such a determined attack here. And there go Katyusha barrage goes way too far, but the Fulton is being mauled here by the K1 heavy tank. There we go, wipe. Great kill here by the Isha is getting a Kednappers and Panther got straight from runs roll here. Pupils flying up behind the Kednappers here. Things getting pretty spicy. The H5 goes up in flames. The Kednapper there wiped out. Could get the other ones. Well, that'd be some pretty harsh losses here for Angreifen in the centre. The Panthers breaking through. They got to push back with the opposite and the Panther. East side here, Pupils over there. Get the second Kednapper. He's going to, I think, try and maybe grab one of them, but the Fulton's going to make that tough. In the centre, K1 was the Panther here. Lacking any tank, so his anti-tank gun. See, he's going to have a tough time. That we got the looks going to even nears. Guard found the Panther, got it down to almost half health here. Fuel bounces here from the K1, the upside, and focusing on the guards instead. Now I think that's much better than firing out the K1 as they briefly did. Trying, I think, grab the K1 back and fight the K1. The K1, by the way, is sustaining a lot of damage and needs to fall back here before it gets completely wiped out. More troops around the centre, going to push for that centre victory point, going to push Angreifen off it. East side here, ground back those like Kednappers for the Reich. And down here, nothing further happening. The Katyusha can almost fire soon again. As for Angreifen, got nothing further happening there. No battle headquarters, no additional armor. Hard to see what Angreifen exactly is thinking there, honestly. Got ace level looks at the 35 kills. K1 gets a great hit there on the looks, pushing it back. Guys from that as well there. Moves at the K1 further here. He is being clearly pretty brazen, pretty courageous there in some ways. Or pretty silly if you're asking others. I certainly would not recommend bringing that heavily damaged tank, even if you're like fairly certain where most of the anti-tank guns are. Fixing up the Panther there. Done here and there. Better quiet between the two sides, and the truck's still not doing anything there. Perhaps it was a misclick by Angreifen. He actually wasn't intending to go for the truck. I mean, that's not impossible. Or maybe he just changed his mind. He's like, you know, well, I'm kind of stuck with the truck now. I don't know what to do with it, but I can't send it back either. That made me look like an idiot. Still not penalty in the Panther here, though I do think you should consider investing in one soon. Of course, he may just be wanting some ammunition for grenades and the rocket strikes. There we go, another Kitchen special Makros this time. Actually getting some hits in, they got 3 kills, almost got one of the Kitchen. Oh, the Kevin is white, but sadly, or fortunately, again, depending on perspective, falls short there of that debilitating strike here. Panther being forced getting hit by anti-tank rifle. K1 that taking hits into the rear there. Not I think the Panther would struggle with frontal armor anyways, but certainly doesn't help. Makros' K1 tank survive. That, you know, exposes his rear there. Panther is virtually 2 bar away, adding the Schutzen. Pim's making a run forward here. Don't trouble this has to charge here maybe, or at least threaten it. But we got the orbs on prohibiting that. We got the Pumes moving up here into tanks out to charge. I don't think it's going to save the K1. There we go. Pop goes the Weasel. And Makros is now without tanks in the face of Angreifen. Of course, it still has that crucial Panther. That big old nasty Panther. Quickly pulling back the repairs. It did suffer a fair amount here at Makros' hands. Moving forwards here. Denying here Makros precious fuel. Not that he really needs fuel. In fact, his issue right now doesn't have enough manpower to use that fuel. Another grenade there. Thrown definitely here by Angreifen and Makros' forces. Reinforcing healing here. Orbital Garden getting ready for the next big push. Panther being repaired here, and of course the Lux is also in repairs, and the truck continues just to wait there. So, what are we supposed to do? I don't know, just sit around and wait? Hope we haven't been forgotten, or maybe actually hope we have been forgotten. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Close to the sniper. Could you rock launch wing forward to the Makros? East upon grab. There we go. Fritz drops dead. So now we're very, very close to the ace level here for Makros. West side, they aren't going to probing up. They were the Kednefers. Panther is good to go. Angreifen is just not doing anything in that truck, but not much else. Is he planning a Panther 4 now? Stücke zu Fuß. Flammhetzer maybe, I don't know. Hard to say, hard to say. Got the observation fortune to the Pumes and the knees here. Firing away there with the rifles and light machines at fairly close ranges. Ripping apart Makros in. There you go, Makros trying to face with a point blank Katyusha barrage. Artillery obliterating, but there you go. Yeah, the Katyushas do nothing. Really no damage to them. Like it looks before the dust suffers damage engine. 39 kills on that light tank here. What will Angreifen do in response to the Orbison getting completely ripped apart there? Another H5 tanks from Makros. Will he go for more Orbital Darden? Will he go for a Panther 4? What will Angreifen go for? Will he go for that second Lux he's been dreaming about for some time now? Well, he just lost the one he had. And he goes for a Flammhetzer. An interesting choice there. The Flammhetzer was a flamethrower. Well, vehicle based off the Hetzer. You know, Flammenpanzer Hetzer. Actually, very few numbers of them were made. They're primarily just made for like breaching the national line during Operation Nordwind. Basically, just Hetzers with a flamethrower instead of the main gun. But I was in every other respect just a regular Hetzer, meaning it had actually like fairly tough frontal armor. Roughly compared to that with Panther actually, but in game it doesn't have that. But little fun fact there, Panther trying to snipe this sniper, but falls a bit short there. He's finally adding the payload machine to the Panther as well there, boy. Thumbs up there. Flammenhead's almost done there for Angreifen. We'll have to see, of course, how Makros responds to the arrival of that incendiary beast here. Meanwhile, the second 85 tank shows right around the corner. Just take a bit of a while to find the correct route. There you go. Flammenpanzer hits out there. Adding the pin-mounted MG34. Got the 85 ready. Halfway to 84 down on the orbital garden. 85 running forwards, now backing up here. Is A's level now. $272 to $235, fairly close in terms of victory point for the small lead of Angreifen or Makros. But now we have the Flammenpanzer already. Of course, what he does with it is another matter entirely. The guards are caught with the Flammenheads are being burned out in the open. Slowly roasted here. And we got the Panther Wing 40 going for a blitzkrieg maneuver, going for the H-85 here. Guards are being burned alive. I think Makros has forgotten about them. Emus is screaming into the radio, begging for a retreat order. Makros finally gets around to retreating there. Panther misses the H-85, and Makros is able to call it out way. There we got Kevin Evans being hammered here by the Red Army Air Force once more. Trying to catch him, but once more, doesn't quite land any hits here. The Panthers on the move again here, crashing through the train to the hedges, provide no barrier against the might of the Panther. And there you go, got the crew abandoned. Almost got the sniper with a pin-up machine gun here. And there you go, Flammenheads moving 40, H-5 down. Completely wrecked. Almost got the sniper with a Flammenheads finished off here. Pupils that are being burned out in the open. We got Katusha firing at the advancing German troops as well there. Flammenheads with 6 kills, veterans who won. Makros' base is being turned into complete bonfire at this rate. And Angreifen keeps probing it further. Makros is forced out of his base here at the sheer threat of just Angreifen roasting his men alive. He got he's actually lost a lot of infantry now. It's not just the foot of the orbital guard. That said, the Flammenheads and the Panther keeping Makros so much in the defensive. It clearly doesn't matter because Makros just doesn't really have any armor left with anti-tank guns. He's got like, you know, the anti-tank rifles. And that's it, really. Wrecking the Special Route Command here slowly but surely with his Panther. Halfway to victory on that one. Flammenheads getting the shies out of there. Good shot there on the Special Route Command. Pulling back the Flammenheads. Another fun fact about the Flammenheads, and of course the Flammenheads by extension, is the sidearm of the Hetzer series was actually non-existent. It was like basically the same as that of the 251 half-tracks, like a few millimeters there to like stop bullets, but that was about it really. So, very fun fact there. Started 34 kills. We got 272 on 37. Signs look pretty bad here for Makros versus Angreifen. That Flammenheads is definitely adding some problems there for Makros. Another wipe there on Makros as well. So what would we go for now, Panther 4 or another Flammenheads? Because why not? Graham point with the foot's going to be here. So yeah, double Flammenheads. That's not something you typically see. It's not something you typically see. But I think under the current circumstances, I'm going to get away with it. It's only going to, well, light the infantry on fire, that's for sure. Slowly approaching to them. The Flammenheads are there. Things being burned out alive. There you go. Finally given permission to retreat here, even as like their comrades are just bursting apart and melting. Second Flammheads are there, right around the corner there for Angreifen. Panther moving forwards. If you defile move there, go double Flammheads, ladies and gentlemen. You saw it first here on the Propagandacast. Of course, the question is how does he make use of them, but certainly it's going to be quite awkward for Makros' infantry no matter how. Now the H5 tanks have a Makros. Tactically, I think Makros needs to reconsider his tactics. Part of the issue, I think, he's just been focusing very heavily on the center and he's been ignoring the rest of the map, which makes it much easier for him to beat him back, obviously. 272 versus 38. Goes straight for the Panther here, burning them apart here with a Flammheads up. Dying heading with a Panther for Deutschland. Second Flammheads on the move now. First one effectively. There you go, got the H502 ready here, even as just Makros' infantry is just being turned into Tinderwood here by the Flammheads. There we go, 2 Flammheads versus 1 squad. Good lord. That's a war crime. H5 going straight being engaged with the Panther, trying to bypass it here. Makros trying to block across, but there we go. Flammheads going for the anti-tank Pims there, burning away at them. Got the H5 there. The Pims were trying to deal with the Panther, meanwhile being absolutely incinerated. Not even any ashes left to bury at this rate. And there we go. Angreifen wins. Makros' spirit is as broken as his men are burned to, well, ashes. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment, tell your friends, tell your family, but don't tell enemies. Of course, consider donating or pledging on Patreon. This is unrelenting. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Till tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.